Welcome to this deep dive. We're going to skip the noise and dive straight into the curated insights from the Technical News You Can Possibly Use newsletter. This one's dated December 26, 2025.
That's right.
This is really the ultimate shortcut for you, the learner, who needs those essential nuggets of knowledge fast.
Yeah, our mission today is pretty clear. We're going to synthesize updates across, 8 critical domains, everything from Azure to AI, all the way to industry trends.
And find the aha moments.
Find the aha moments and, maybe more importantly, the security shifts you just can't afford to ignore.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting right in the cloud with Azure. The first big thing here isn't flashy at all. It feels more like mandatory housekeeping.
It is.
The recommendation to trust the new DigiCert Global Root G2 from Microsoft Entra. Why is this such a core identity update?
Well, because securing your Entra identity management is, it's the foundation of your entire cloud trust model, period.
It's everything.
It's everything. It governs who gets access to what. And a root certificate, it's the ultimate guarantor of that trust. When Microsoft says you have to migrate, it's because the old one is on its way out.
So, practically speaking, what happens if you ignore this? Is it just a bad security posture, or is there an immediate risk?
Oh, it's both. If you ignore it, access eventually breaks. It just stops working.
Right.
Your systems can't validate the trust chain with Entra, and people get locked out. It's not optional. This is mandatory for continued access.
Absolutely essential. And speaking of mandates, AI is really being pushed into compliance roles. The source mentions intelligent document redaction with SPFX and Azure AI.
Yeah.
For PII protection. So AI is doing the heavy lifting for compliance now.
It's a perfect real-world application, really. Compliance around PII is just relentless. And if you have millions of documents, humans just can't scale.
No way.
So using Azure AI to automatically find and redact that info, it turns a massive legal headache into a manageable, automated service.
That makes compliance feel like a product, not a policy. I also appreciated that the source highlighted the lessons learned following October outages for Azure Front Door.
That's crucial, that transparency. When you're relying on something like Front Door, reliability is everything. Knowing what broke and how they're fixing it is just as important as any new feature.
It really is. Okay, let's shift gears. Section 2, Microsoft 365. The big story here is Copilot integration. Specifically, the ability to bring insights from your OneDrive files into Microsoft 365 Copilot.
And what's so fascinating here is how much this expands Copilot's utility for you, the individual.
Right. Before it felt like a corporate brainstorming partner.
Exactly. It knew about shared Teams chats, SharePoint files, but now, by pulling in your personal OneDrive files, it becomes an exponentially more useful assistant.
So it can find that memo I saved 6 months ago?
That obscure memo, or connect the dots between your private notes and a shared team document. It really changes Copilot from just a corporate tool into a personal knowledge assistant.
That is a huge gain. We're also seeing more customization for developers. There's a SharePoint Framework Roadmap update and something called SharePoint Embedded, which lets you put M365 features inside your own app.
Which is key for deep integration. But if we connect this all back to security, the most critical updates here are actually coming to Teams.
Tightening the perimeter?
Tightening the perimeter. Admins will soon be able to block external users via the Defender portal.
Okay, unified control.
But the really critical date, the one you need to circle on your calendar, is that Teams will enforce messaging safety defaults starting January 2026.
January 2026. A hard deadline. What does that actually mean, enforce messaging safety defaults?
It means Microsoft is rolling out a baseline security mode. The burden shifts from you, the admin, having to configure everything, to the platform enforcing safety by default.
So it minimizes exposure to spam, risky content?
Exactly. It's a fundamental shift. Communication safety is moving from an option to a requirement. Every IT pro needs to plan for that. Okay, moving on to Section 3. Power Platform and Dynamics 365. The theme here is speed. The ability to build a Copilot agent using agent templates.
Velocity is everything in low-code. They drastically reduce the friction for citizen developers to spin up these specialized agents for specific tasks.
So if it's that easy to build them, what's the inevitable headache that comes next?
Governance. As always, it's governance.
Of course.
That's the so what here. It feels a little like we're watching the early 2000s sprawl of unmanaged access databases all over again.
That analogy hits home.
But this time it's with high-powered AI agents plugged into your critical data. So the source rightly points to the Copilot Studio governance resources. You have to control who can build, what data they can access, otherwise it's just chaos.
Control has to scale faster than the agents.
That's the perfect way to put it.
All right, let's pivot. Section 4, DevOps and SRE. We're seeing some surprising shifts here. First, a quick nod to the return of web components. Yeah, it speaks to the cyclical nature of front-end development, right? People are tired of big frameworks. But the really interesting debate is around this concept of vibe coding.
Vibe coding. It sounds more like a band than a development methodology. What is it?
It's essentially prompt-driven development. The developer just prompts an LLM to generate huge chunks of code, focusing on, getting the vibe right.
And the source warns this is the quickest way to break software.
It is for production systems. It's great for prototyping, for exploring an idea. But the LLM doesn't understand your architectural debt or your security posture.
So you get code that works for a little while.
You get code that's fast, functional, and incredibly brittle. You're trading long-term stability for short-term speed.
A classic trade-off. Now, to help manage all this, the glossary introduced a new term, A2UI, Agent-to-User Interface.
A2UI is fundamental. It's about moving beyond simple text chat. It's an open project to let an AI agent generate a structured, interactive UI on the fly.
So instead of just text, the AI sends the code to render, say, 3 clickable cards.
Precisely. It turns the AI from a text generator into an interface architect. It's building the front end for you.
Okay, connecting from that, let's jump to Section 5, Data and AI. Here we see agents moving into production, but in a much more controlled way. Agentic DevOps in real life.
Yes, and this provides the balance that vibe coding was missing. This is the mature view. You're using agents to automate testing, deployment pipelines, the core of DevOps.
And the key phrase here is keep humans in the loop. That sounds like SRE.
It is. The agents handle the velocity, the mechanical parts, but humans maintain oversight. They're the reliability gate. And of course, the source reminds us that you still need the fundamentals.
Right, the article on probability concepts you'll actually use in data science.
Exactly. The models are powerful, but if you don't understand the underlying stats, you're just guessing.
Let's move to Section 6, Security. It starts with a persistent threat, the wave of OAuth phishing attacks against Microsoft 365.
Yeah, attackers are getting smarter. They're not just after your password anymore, they're after your authorization token.
But the defense is evolving too. The source talks about moving to predictive shielding.
Right, a shift from reactive to predictive. It's like AI playing digital chess against the attacker.
How does that work in practice?
It uses these massive data lakes to model potential attack paths and proactively apply fixes before an exploit happens. It anticipates the threat.
And we also saw some specific tools mentioned. Anubis, an open source AI firewall, and updates in Security Copilot for Defender.
And this next one is a huge efficiency gain for any security team. The User Behavior Analytics, or UEBA, update in Microsoft Sentinel promises to stop wasting time on behavioral analytics.
That's a bold promise. How?
By cutting down on the noise. Traditional UEBA creates so many false positives. This update uses ML to filter out normal variations, so analysts are only looking at true critical deviations. It saves hours of work.
That's huge. Okay, Section 7, Learning and Certifications. What's the one critical concept here that the learner really needs to get?
It has to be the Model Context Protocol, or MCP.
MCP, it sounds like the plumbing for the whole AI world.
It is the lingua franca. It's an open standard that lets AI models securely access external data and tools in a standardized way.
So why should I care?
You should care, because if you want your Copilot to talk to your legacy CRM, they need a common protocol. MCP is what stops us from having 100 different proprietary insecure integrations. It enables interoperability.
That makes sense. It's the open standard that makes it all work together.
Exactly.
All right, final section, industry news. We have a massive acquisition. ServiceNow buying cybersecurity startup Armis for $7.75 billion.
That valuation just shows you how critical asset visibility, IoT, IT, everything has become. And ServiceNow is betting it can be the single platform to manage it all.
We also see the DoD planning to expand its AI platform with XAI capabilities in early 2026.
Which just confirms that strategic AI deployment is now a core part of national security.
Now, let's close on the most disruptive news here. Because this feels like a generational decision. Microsoft is building a team to eliminate C and C++ X-room and is translating code to Rust.
This is a declaration of war on memory safety vulnerabilities.
Hmm.
It's a huge deal.
I mean, C and C++ are the bedrock of almost everything.
Everything. And the industry estimates that up to 70% of all severe vulnerabilities are memory safety issues baked into those languages. Microsoft is tired of patching the same architectural holes over and over again.
So this is a colossal undertaking.
So it's a colossal, long-term strategic shift. Rust is designed with memory safety built in. Microsoft is essentially committing to changing the engine of a plane while it's in the air. This will define the next decade of Windows development.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered everything from governing AI agent sprawl and the rise of vibe coding to that January 2026 deadline for Teams messaging safety.
And the common thread through all of it, really, is this relentless pursuit of speed, enabled by AI.
Which has to be balanced by an urgent need for security.
Exactly. Whether it's a mandatory root certificate update or strategically moving away from an entire programming language like C++, speed has to be paired with safety.
What stands out most to you? For me, it's that Rust commitment, the sheer ambition of it.
Well, if Microsoft is building a team to eliminate C and C++ from its core systems, a process that will take years and cost a fortune, it raises a really important question for you, the learner.
Okay.
Given that C and C++ form the bedrock of so much infrastructure, what's the actual lifespan of every single legacy application you currently run that relies on those languages? And more importantly, how long can your organization afford to wait before planning your own strategic shift toward memory-safe development? That's what you should be mulling over this week.